white people, black people, gay people, straight people, all types of people. Hey, everybody, should I say? This is Jonas, and thanks for watching. And please subscribe to my channel, and you'll be one thing that will keep you on top of the world. Today, I'm going to talk to you about an amazing trick, or to many people, as they call it, a talent that I'm going to show you guys how to do. It's amazing talent that I've had that a lot of people have best known me about. So I have this talent that I've had for most of my life where I can guess the calendar date of any year, of any calendar date, from pretty much about any year, going back to about as far as about 1900, sometimes before. And of course, because when I ask people what day of the week was this certain date, they would not usually remember. And one of the tricks I also tell them is that it's a 1 out of 7 chance that they're going to get the right day of the week within that calendar date. They're going to get the right day of the week. It's a 1 out of 7 chance. But, you know, of course, they're not always going to get the first attempt right. So as for me, and so how did I learn it? Well, first, I learned it because I wanted to know when my parents were born. I wanted to know exactly when certain events really took place. I wanted to go kind of deep right there, and so it took some time. Over time, I got to learn just the calendar system, how the calendar dates are like what day of the week does it fall, and it took some time and it took a little bit of patience. But over time, as I realized over the last almost 20 years, is that I'm able to remember it, so easily, because I tend to go back, or I had to study it for a couple months to about a year, and I got used to the system. And a lot of folks, from what I learned, cannot guess the calendar date for a calendar date for a certain date for even last year, even this year. And so it's no surprise. So don't be ashamed if you're one of those people. So I'm going to show you something. Now, as we have on the board, I'm going to write here. So I'm going to write a calendar date. So, of course, we have 12 months in a calendar year on the Gregorian calendar. Of course, January through December. There are 365 days a year and 366 in a leap year. Now, we're going to put down a specific calendar date, and I'm going to put down October 19th, 2017. Okay, and that's one of my top subscribers' birthdays, and so that's a date I have right there. And now, it was on Thursday. You see right here, it was a Thursday. And now this is like, of course, last week. Now, like a lot of people just want to know, how can I guess this exact calendar date going back to, let's say, for example, 1982? Well, here's the thing. So each, like, a calendar date typically moves about one day, pretty much a day ahead each year, but on leap years, it's 2 days ahead. And so, which I want to write down here. Okay, so it moves one day ahead. Okay, it moves 1 day ahead. So generally what that means is that this same calendar date next year, so we already know a day ahead of Thursday would be Friday. So we have Friday, October 19th, 2018. So October 19th, yes. Now going back, if we were to go back a year, we'd have to subtract 1 day behind. So October 19th would have to be 2016. So we have Thursday for 2017, so we're going to have Wednesday for last year. And it was on a Wednesday, as you can see, if you type it on your cell phone or you check on on your computer, like a calendar date. And so, but of course, I want to be able to show you how to do it, you know, like a computer, and so do it manually. Because I can almost promise you this. Every time I always happen to get it correct. It don't matter how far back as you go. And see, I want you to be like me, okay? In a way, I want you to get an extra skill. And so, and the best part is it doesn't cost you any money, it's just your time, okay? So we just go one day ahead. Now, let's say, now, this is true, like, you know, if you're going from a regular year to a regular year. But let's say, so 2019, it'd be a Saturday, this same date. And then, now, because 2020 is a leap year, we would have that same date go ahead 2 days ahead instead of one. So Saturday, there's no Sunday, so it's going to be Monday. Yeah, and so going to be a very special day for one of my top subscribers. So so that's what we're kind of looking at. So it goes ahead 2 days. Now, the same thing would apply, like if we go back here to October 19th, and so 2016, now 2016 was a leap year, but see, the leap day is between the 2015 of October 19th to 2016 of the same calendar date. So we subtract 2 days, and we have, we're looking at in 2015, now, sorry, the lid fell off. I'm probably going to switch over the markers a bit. Okay. But anyways, so yeah, so we had Wednesday for 2016. What we're going to do is 2 days backwards, as we see right here, is going to be Monday. So we have Monday, October 19, 2015. So the rule of thumb is when you go back and go ahead a certain number of days, the most important thing you want to do is determine if it's a regular year in between, like if you want, but generally if this rule, and so like, so as you see here, we added 2 days between 2019 and 2020 because even 2020 is a leap year, and I did say you add 2 days in a leap year because February 29th is in between those 2 days. And so, and whereas 25th, like when we went backwards, like before 2016, we had to minus 2 days because the 29th of February is between the like 2015 and the 2016 date of October 19th. And so, and that's another thing I want to get to, because let's say we have January 28th, for example. January 28th, 2007. So we're looking at it on, it's a Sunday, as I can remember, and if you're, feel free to check on your phones or anything and prove me wrong if you're not, but I can almost guarantee you will be wrong to think that I'm wrong. Okay, so we have it a Sunday. Okay, now 2008 is a leap year. Okay, so 2008 is a leap year, but January 28th, now for 2007, it's a Sunday. Now, January 28th, 2008, people are thinking sometimes it's going to be a Tuesday, and that's not true, because here, again, it goes back to what I had just said about over a minute ago, because February 29th is after this day, you know, and so February 29th is after this day, not before. So because of that, we only need to add 1 day, not 2, 1 day. And we have Monday, January 28th. Now, 2009, we have January 28th. Okay, and that would be Wednesday. We had to add 2 days. So one of the other tricks you can do to be able to kind of gauge how many days ahead you want to go by when you're doing this, like on, you know, any calendar date, usually after March 1st, is generally you want to, of course, now, as we see here, we have the 19th of the last couple years. Now, now we have, let's see, on Monday in 2015, and we see where it says -2 days. So that's like going back. But what we do is, you see, like for 2018, it's a day ahead in 2019, and you see 2 days ahead in like between 2019 and 2020, because in between you've got February 29th, 2020. That's in between. So just try to, one thing to do is to, before, when you try to go ahead, like each calendar date, like go ahead a certain number of days, just try to determine in your head if there is a leap day in between. And if there is, you want to add 2 days. If there isn't, just go with the simple 1 day thing. And just keep it simple. And pretty much you'll kind of get the flow as you continually do it. So it just takes practice. It takes practice. Now, these are just some calendar dates over the last few years. Now, people have always been wondering, how can I go far back, much further? And one thing I do is, this is almost similar. So we're going to try a calendar date. We are going to try November 29th. 1989. Try November 29, 1989. So a lot of people will take a long time to figure out what day of the week it is. Here's one thing is that this is about 28 years ago. 28 years ago. Okay. And it's 2017 right now. One thing is that like most people cannot guess, cannot get the day of the week if it's a year or two. Well, here's one thing I've been doing. So as you see here, do you know how I emphasize February 29th? This applies in the same concept, but in a different way. So February 29th comes about every 4 years. 4 years. Comes every 4 years. And so now here's the other thing. Because it comes every 4 years, the chances of it falling on the same day of the week are 1 out of 7. So it would take at least 7 times for leap day to fall on the same day of the week. Takes at least on the same day of the week. As before. So generally, based on this theory, so let's say February 29th of 2016, it would take at least 7 times for it to fall on the same day, like 7 leap days for it to fall on the same day of the week. So 7 times 4 is going to be 28, because it's every 4 years. And so 7 times, so it would take 28 years for this to happen. It would take 28 years. And I'm going to show you how I can prove to you that. So it takes 28 years. And basically what happens is that, so we know, one thing I know is February 29th last year was Monday. It was a Monday. Now, if we go back 28 years, that's 1988, it would be Monday. So it's a Monday back then. Now if we look at, of course, March 1st, 1988. So we have Tuesday, and now, actually, so February 29, 2016 was last year. It was just last year. Now, how do we know it's a Wednesday? Here's one thing. So since the 29th of February last year, what has happened is there is the same number of days, the same exact number of days. There's no extra day added. There's no day subtracted, because the 2016 and 1988 are leap years. The years after are identical, the same thing. And so there's there's a leap year 4 years after that. And see, like 2016, that was last year. So this calendar date is a year after the 29th in 1988. And so we know that November 29th this year is going to be a Wednesday in 2017. So we have it Wednesday, November 29th, 1989. Okay. Now, and here's one thing I can prove. So I'm gonna actually do something shortly, okay? Okay, so as we see here, now what I did was I took the extra, I did it manually, doing the extra, steps like for each year, as you see right here, like going from 1989 and going through 2000, through the early 2000s, and going through the last several years. Now keep in mind, between the regular year and the leap years, we typically add 2 days because of the leap day. So as you see right here, now if you see like how it's done, you notice I go 2 days ahead, like when I get to the leap year. And so as you see, like 1989, it's a Wednesday, and it's also a Wednesday in several other years, but it's also a Wednesday in 2017. That's 28 years. And why I emphasize that is because, of course, of leap day in each of those instances in this year, 2017 to 1989, there's a leap day before. And so it's going to be very identical. So that's a 28 year rule that I usually try to figure out calendar dates going back, for a couple years. So like, let's say so we're going to try a harder one. We are going to try to determine the calendar date of the Great Depression. And what we're going to do is, so the Great, or like of the stock market crash. That would be Tuesday. Okay, switching markers. Okay. So we have stock market crash. Okay, we had the stock market crash in 1929. Now we're going to find out this, we're going to find out like using a method kind of just like this. And so now it happened on October. Okay. So how we're going to figure this out? Well, now we know that so we have the 20-year rule. Okay, so 28 years from 1929 is 1957. That's still far back. We can try another 28 years, 1985. And then we could try another 20 years, and it'll bring us to about 2013. 2013, okay? Now, today is actually October 26th, and so that's today. This will make it a lot simpler. And 29th this year is going to be Sunday. It's going to be a Sunday, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to go back to 2013. Now, what we do is like going there. Now, last year it was a Saturday. There's Saturday, and then Thursday, and then Wednesday, and then Tuesday. So it's a Tuesday in 2013. So that's actually how we're able, and here's what we have 2013 right here. And so, and go back 85, go back 1957, go back 1929, bam. So this is what you get. Okay, and one thing is, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to just, do every 20 years. You can use 56 years or 84 years. And so, here's the only exception to this. So there is a leap day every 4 years, except, in years that end with 100, such as 1900 and 2100. 2000 is an exception. Like every 400 years, generally, what's going to happen is there'll be a leap day on those years that end with 100. And I'm going to just write this down, okay? So years, it's in years divisible by 4. Okay. Every 4 years, and years divisible by 4, same day of week every 28 years. And then, as I mentioned just now, every year divisible by 4 except so every year divisible by 4 except years ending with 100. However, the exception except every by 400. So generally what that means is we've had leap day like in 2000, and the last time there was a leap day in a year that ended with 100, and so was in 1600. That was prior to 2000. So yeah, so last one before 2000 was 1600 that had happened. So 1900, 1800, and 1700 are non-leap years. They're non-leap years. So keep that in mind. And so it kind of the same thing what this says right here. And so these are just the rules. So every 4 years, years divisible by 4, generally same day of the week every 28 years, and every year divisible by 4 except years ending with 100, except every 100 year divisible by 400. there you have it. So that's kind of that's one thing I mentioned where, you know, like you could use 56 years instead of 28 years to kind of go back a lot further. And you can use going like maybe 84 years, but keep in mind that's, you know, between about 1900 and 2100 that it applies. And so now I want to try something else. Now, let's do a future calendar date. Let's say we're going to try January 1st, 2050. January 1st, 2050. So the best way to do it, the easiest way, is we want to know when it will fall in 2022. So we know in 2018 it's going to be falling on a Monday, and then it's going to be Tuesday in 2019. And for 2020, it's not going to be on Thursday, but it's going to be on a Wednesday because the 29th of February has not passed yet. So it's going to be Friday in 2021, and it's going to be 2022. Voila, Saturday. So we already know what it's going to be in 2022. Now, see, and what happens is at 28, you get 2050. So we have Saturday, January 1st, 2050 right here. Okay. All right. So that's one calendar date that we had just predicted ourselves. And that's pretty much about it for today. And if you like some of our videos and like this one, again, subscribe to my channel and you'll be on top of the world. And tell all your friends and everyone else that I'm a huge Taylor Swift fan, so because I really am. Again, thanks for watching, and I hope you learned how to think like Jonas, how to be the calendar, have an internal calendar in your brain. Thanks for watching.